So if every week out of nowhere without a prior announcement or a release date, my favourite game of all time just re-released of a pretty significant and impressive remaster. For long-term viewers of my channel, you may remember that I went through a phase of exclusively making videos about living in Skyrim for a few years. It was actually during my uni days, and I made a video here and there. I forgot to pronounce consonants for a moment there. And it was basically to pay my bills and for food to get me through my studies. I made this video comparing Oblivion and Skyrim, and it's still the most viewed video on my channel for some reason, still with a 50-50 like and dislike split. And now I've returned in full form to make videos about this game with the release of this remaster. I'm pumping out videos most days on my second channel, Night Goblin, so I really appreciate it if you did subscribe to the channel and gave those videos a go. I currently have a few released out there, like how to get the best start in the game and a little video on how to boost your performance and frame rate playing the game. I actually managed to triple my frame rate with some very simple tweaks that don't really alter the game's visuals that much. I'll leave everything linked in the description for you to check out. But anyway, Oblivion has always been my favourite game. Yes, I'm probably very biased and I have very thick rose-tinted goggles for this game, as it was my first proper RPG I ever really played. But I will still fight to the death in defending this game as the best RPG that was ever created. If you're looking for a real RPG with satisfying progression, immersion, with a quintessential high fantasy setting, Oblivion is the pinnacle of that vibe. Yes, The Witcher 3 and Baldur's Gate are great RPGs, probably with much better story, but Baldur's Gate isn't first person, it's turn-based, so it's nowhere near as immersive, and The Witcher, well, you only get to play as Geralt rather than customising your own class fantasy. Skyrim was alright, but the world felt so bland. You were mostly just looking at icy mountains and tundra for most of your adventures, and the one-handed and two-handed dynamic just felt really clunky and restrictive to, compared to Oblivion. You can have way better and cooler combos and builds in Oblivion. It's why I've always preferred the predecessor of this game series. Because Oblivion is set in Cyrodiil, and Cyrodiil is a central location in Tamriel, it means the world itself has a combination of all the surrounding areas. The game has a stronger sense of environmental diversity. In the north, the Bruma area feels like Skyrim, and the Leeuwin area to the south feels like the swamps of Blackmarsh. It's hard to explain how this makes a game feel, but I think it just makes the game feel more fantasy. You don't get bored looking at the same environments and colours. Skyrim really feels like you're playing the game with that really grey Instagram filter on your monitor sometimes. Skyrim has obviously always been the most popular game. It released at the right time, with great graphics, the unique selling point of killing dragons, and they simplified many systems to make it accessible to a larger audience. I'll never forget the day it released. I'm pretty sure I was like 11 years old at school, and everyone, not 11 years old at school, sorry, year 11 at school, and everyone was talking about how many dragons they had killed, which was shocking to me because those kids usually only played Call of Duty and Halo. Oblivion has always been less accessible, especially as the potato faces of all the races were a bigger turn-off and finding out someone actually owns a Tesla and they are unironically proud of it. But with this remaster, the game now looks better than Skyrim, and it's probably the best proper RPG to come out in the past few years, and now everyone can finally see why. People always criticise Oblivion for having a levelling problem. I honestly think it was more of a player problem. I liked how you actually had to read a game manual to understand how to optimise your character during the levelling process. You were rewarded for planning ahead and being smart about what skills you prioritised to max out the actual bonuses of your level ups. I get most aren't a fan of this, but they have totally streamlined levelling now, so you just get 12 virtue points to spend on attribute points with every single level up. And now I think it probably is the best RPG system ever created. That's another thing I really didn't like about Skyrim, is how they totally got rid of the attribute system and just had, health, magicka and fatigue. There was also so many background mechanics affecting everything in the world in Oblivion and how the world interacted with you. The game really was a fully fledged, breathing and living fantasy world, from NPCs having their own unique weekly schedules to people and the world treating you differently based on how famous and established you were, becoming as a fantasy hero archetype. On the other hand, Skyrim made you a complete demigod dragonborn, or, by the time of the 4th quest or something. Here in Cyrodiil, a man gets what he earns when he earns it. Certain quests would only unlock once your fame stat had increased, which increased slowly as you did more and more quests. It didn't matter if you were competing in the arena, becoming a grand champion, or helping two brothers who were separated at birth reconnect. It took a while before you became someone in Oblivion. And your current fame stat would affect the disposition stat of every NPC in the game, which is basically the stat for everyone liking you. It kind of made sense. The more famous you became for doing good deeds, the more likely people were to like you, and easier it was to persuade people in order for those people to tell you their secrets that was required for completing certain quests. You'll also notice how in-game your disposition is higher when speaking to your own race and lower for races that don't like your race. For instance, Argonians hate Dark Elves because Dark Elves enslaved Argonians in their history and lore, and the Hay Elves don't like Dark Elves that much because they look down on their Daedric worshipping. The Ayleid ruins in Cyrodiil with their malicious traps to catch the player out reflect the culture and cruelty of the ancient elven civilization that was there before the Imperials conquered Cyrodiil, which by the way is heavily influenced by Roman history obviously. There are immersive lore reasons to mechanics in the game and so much depth to be revealed. Just wait until you discover all of the secrets of every single castle, of every single town in Oblivion, okay? I know some nerds are going to say that Daggerfall did this better. I know it did, but playing Daggerfall feels so retro now, it feels like going from watching a film to watching a puppet show. I mean, the game was released when mad cow's disease was still a thing, Hotmail had just released, and the Spice Girls were still topping the charts, okay? Most people aren't going to be capable of playing Daggerfall, but most people are capable of giving Oblivion a go. And you should. It's the best RPG that was ever created, and now it looks pretty, so go play it. And please check out my second channel. But anyway guys, such a short one today. My name is Metagoblin. Ciao.